No better. Good evening. I'm Bill Willmore in for Nancy, care of Janie, and on 12 tonight, late word today about sealed documents in the Anne Marie Fahey case, but it will not be until at least Monday until we know what the papers say. It's the final weekend before Super Tuesday. Tonight, the political views of a college professor from Hockessin. And a big weekend for Blue Hen Sports. Tom Byrne is here. All that plus a look at your weekend weather. The word wool sweater may come to mind. It's all ahead for Friday, November 1st, 1996.
12 Tonight is brought to you in part by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Delaware and All Nation Life Insurance Company, serving the viewers of WHYY-TV 12, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Delaware and All Nation.
From some people is that they vote with their hearts and some with their pocketbooks. Well, a University of Delaware professor has written a book on how politics influence our tax system and how politicians influence how much we pay Uncle Sam. Joining me tonight, Sheldon Pollack, author of The Failure of the American Tax Policy, to talk about the politics of taxes. Nationally, I have to ask you this question. What part does President Clinton play, and perhaps even Mr. Dole play, or has played in the past in shaping our tax policies?
Well, Senator Dole played an important role as chairman of the Senate Finance Committee, and of course it seems as if taxes are driving the Republican platform. Central theme of the Republican Party is the tax cut, the 15% tax cut, and others in the Republican Party, like Jack Kemp, would even have more drastic proposals, all tax proposals. It is amazing how much taxes are dominating the election.
You were kind of flatly opposed, to excuse the pun, to the flat tax proposal. The reasons behind that?
Well, that's a little misleading. I actually would like to see us adopt the essence of the flat tax, which is a consumption tax. The main feature was not so much the flat rate, but that it's really a consumption tax that encourages people to save rather than the income tax, which is a penalty, a disincentive for savings. The main objection I had is that it would create such disallocations in the economy that jumping from the income tax, which we've had for 80 years, and adopting a consumption tax or a flat tax would be such a drastic change that politically it was not feasible, and economically it would be very difficult to implement.
This whole idea and the concept of people voting with their hearts, some of their pocketbooks, what do you think we're going to see more of on Tuesday?
Well, people do seem to vote relative to how the economy is doing. I'm not sure to the extent to which the electorate has been enthused by the tax issue. The Dole campaign has run with this 15% tax cut, and it doesn't seem to have generated the kind of enthusiasm that the Republicans were counting on, and I think that's what left the Republican Party without any alternative, and then they started jumping around trying to find a major issue. People probably shouldn't vote based on their simple calculation which plan will save them money, but more realistically, which plan is better for the country as a whole. And that one, there's not that big a difference between the total budget packages of Clinton and the Dole campaign.
What do you see in the future after the election in terms of what shape and what direction our tax system is going to head?
Well, neither the Dole plan nor the Clinton plan is particularly radical. In fact, the Clinton plan is pretty much what we've seen for the last 30 years, the kind of targeted tax cuts for constituents within the Democratic Party. Likewise, the Republican plan is not that radical. If Bob Dole really was elected, I don't think there's any problem that he could implement the 15% cut. That's really not that radical. The Republicans have been arguing for a 15% cut like that since 1946. What's really radical is some of the plans in the Congress that the Ways and Means Committee Chairman Bill Archer is a strong proponent of a national sales tax. That's much more radical than even the flat tax. And that's waiting in the wings if the Republicans take control and hold control of the 105th Congress.
Mr. Pollack, thank you for joining us. Good luck with the book. Sheldon Pollack, author of the new book, The Failure of the American Tax Policy. A lot of stories to talk about in the headlines. The Weekend Review is next. Stay with us.
12 Tonight is being made possible in part by the WHYY News and Information Fund, generously supported by the following companies.